Hey everybody, it's Kelsey here again. Last time we met, we chatted with Nate Sexton, one of our Team Innova captains, and today we're chatting with the other Team Innova captain, Jennifer Allen. Everybody, welcome Jen. Hey Jen, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
I'm so excited to chat with you today as a woman in disc golf, chatting with another woman in disc golf. I just was so excited to get to know you more and talk with you about how you got here.
It seems like it really didn't take that long, even though I have been playing for a very long time. So it goes by quick, and I think that's just because we love the game so much, So time really kind of does fly. But I started back in 1999 in Norman, Oklahoma, and back then there was only a few women in Oklahoma who really played tournaments. I'm sure there was a few more that played casually, but tournament-wise, you really had to go outside of Oklahoma. Like I went to Texas a lot. I went to Kansas. You traveled around to be able to play in a division, other than by yourself. And so there wasn't a lot of women back then, but I went to Am Worlds in Kansas City in 99. So I played for about 6 months and then went pro after that because I believe there was just one or two more women playing pro. And so to play with other women, I just went pro pretty quickly.
We're going to do a fun segment called the Bio Blast. So you might have to have some other things come up in your head really quick that people might not know about you. But just to give you a quick rundown, the Bio Blast is you have 30 seconds to tell us 5 facts about you that other people might not know. But whenever you're ready, feel free to go.
I was a cheerleader and a gymnast for about probably 8 years. I coached and continued along with that for several years after graduating. I turned down a scholarship to Purdue to kind of play disc golf and go to college locally. I'm a physical therapist assistant and worked in healthcare and outpatient orthopedics as well as home health care for 20 plus years as well. So I've kind of done both disc golf and healthcare for a long time. And then I am a mother of 3 beautiful, incredible children, Michaela, Kelsey, and Andrew. And I love watching college football.
Do you have a favorite college football team?
I mean, you have to go with the Sooners because I can see the stadium from here. So
my husband is a huge Texas Longhorns fan. So I'm turning down the volume as we speak. I'm like,
okay, yeah.
You didn't hear any of that.
Yeah, definitely not the 2 favorite teams that love each other for sure.
No. I mean, yeah, pretty big rivalry for sure. Your kids also compete in disc golf. Am I correct in that?
Yes, absolutely. So my daughter had played until this last Women's Global. My daughter had played in every Women's Global. She didn't play a lot of other tournaments beside, some of the women's events and local other women's events, just because there wasn't a lot of girls that play. Now, clearly, she still absolutely loves the game. She's an incredible caddy, whether she's has played a lot or not. She just, the knowledge of the game, they were around, my kids were, really young when they were around at the professional level. So I always joked a lot of times that I think that they knew the respect and the rules sometimes better as a young kid than some of the adults did. But they respect the game and they know the rules. And I've never pushed my kids at any sport. I even kind of tried to discourage my daughter from cheerleading and gymnastics just because it's a rough sport. But I wanted them to kind of fall in love with the game just like I did. And so it's always been there, but I've never shoved it down their throats. And so recently my older son, who's now 17, is really kind of starting to get that itch and the sport's growing. So, now more kids know about it at school. We've talked about starting a little league at his high school, and I've been teaching a lot of the schools there in Arizona. And so we're hoping to kind of get more kids playing, which makes it's kind of like women playing, right? There's not a lot, so we're kind of getting by that barrier. So it's the same for kids, I think. A lot of kids really don't stay out there and play because they're having to play with adults. So that was kind of like in the beginning when women kind of had to play with the men. So I think as the sport's growing in like mass volume, there's going to be continue to be a big growth of the scene of the kids out there. And I think that'll help encourage to keep them out there and to really make them fall in love with the game and play more tournaments, because they play casually, but tournaments is kind of hard when you have to play with adults and there's just a few kids.
In under a minute, only have 60 seconds. Give us a tip or a couple tips for a beginner looking to improve their distance.
Do we get a bonus if we do it in under a minute?
Yes.
I think it's super important. You have to have a good grip on the disc, right? So I think number one would be a good tight grip, right? You have to have a good grip. If it's really loose, it's going to wobble and not get the spin. It's all about how fast you can make that disc fly. So it is physics, and it goes back to that. So good grip, a lot of rotation for that reach back, longer lever arm, more, again, goes back, more spin. Activating your core and hips, especially for women, I think is huge. That's where our biggest muscles are. And so you have to, have your knees bent a little bit to help activate your core and your hips and quads. And then getting that good rotation and follow through, all with perfect timing. You got that, right, Kelsey?
I got that all notes in my head. Disc golf is a really young sport, and it's growing every single day. And the number of women, though, in the game isn't growing as much as the game itself. And I was just wondering, maybe from your perspective, what could we do to grow the amount of women playing, the amount of women going out to the course? And do you think there's any setbacks that might be prohibiting that growth right now?
I think the numbers have shown like the growth is the same. So as, where we are before pre-COVID, the same number, like we're inclining on the same. So there's just a lot more clearly guys out there throwing and playing than the women, but we are still seeing great growth, right? So we have, in these, our world championships or the women's championships, we're having numbers that we haven't seen before. So there's more women out there, just the growth of the men are still at a great higher number. So I think as women, we just have to be better about bringing our friends out and introducing the game to more women. It's great to get out there and get started with a boyfriend or a husband or whatever, but we need to get our girlfriends out there, maybe. And we talked about, I talked about previously with Cheryl and Tita on the PDGA radio about, maybe your smoothie shop or your yoga or Pilates class or, some of those groups that, and women of any ages, so maybe getting into like the YMCA, places that, women go to exercise together and just show them that, we can get outside and exercise together too. Or just, that good fun girls group, your monthly old high school girls group that gets together, whatever, maybe encourage them and just say, let's try something new this week. And I'm going to bring the disc and you girls come out and walk with me, because maybe 1 out of 10 might get hooked like you did. And that's just one more girl out there that's going to play.
I like to bribe my friends too. Like if we want to go on a walk, like we can also throw this disc and then maybe after we can go get ice cream. I think that like promoting and encouraging your friends that it's not supposed to be intimidating and you can still be so social and, get steps in and do all of these other things while playing, and just promoting like the positivity of it, I think is what helps them get hooked to it too.
Yeah, absolutely. And make sure that they know, because clearly if you're getting them out there, you've probably played a little bit. You weren't great at the very first time you touched a disc either, right? So I think we have to make that clear that it is hard. It's harder than it looks, and that it's going to take some time. And so, not worrying about your score, maybe not even playing 18 holes, right? Just getting out there and and building up to where they like the sport. Because if it's too much at the beginning, a hard course or a full 18 holes when it was hot and windy, like bad conditions. So make it to where it is inviting and fun, and you can get them hooked a little bit easier if it's something that they can be successful at.
All right, girls, you heard that here first. Go out and invite your friends to the course this weekend and then get ice cream afterwards. From Kelsey and Jen Allen. Jen, I don't know if you know, but it is the 40th anniversary of Innova this year and the 25th anniversary of Team Innova this year. So 2023 is a huge year for us at Innova. And I just wanted to know what being a team captain for Team Innova means to you. And what do you think that Innova means to the sport of disc golf, or maybe just to you?
Yeah, huge year. And what an honor, like honestly, personally, to be involved in that. You know, there's only a few companies who have been along for this whole ride, right? We have all these new companies popping up, but looking back at the beginning, you know, here we are. And so to be a part of that team is just an honor. I mean, clearly that's the best word to describe it. Being a team captain, again, we have some of the best women in the team, men and women. And so to be a part of that, and I feel like my role is just to continue to encourage us all to work together. It's how many sports that is an individual sport, but yet you're still a team player, right? And so we're out there to win on our own, but yet I think our team does such a great job of encouraging the rest of our team members for success. So when you work together and you have that good teamwork and you keep that morale up, I think overall the team is going to be a lot more successful. So I've enjoyed being that cheerleader, that mom of the team, to help continue to encourage us all to work together to achieve more as a whole.
In under a minute, 60 seconds again. Tell us the 3 discs that will never leave your bag and why.
We'll start with the T-Bird. The Jen Allen T-Bird, of course. This is this year's stamp. I still am throwing last year's because I haven't really worked in this year's. But my T-Bird is one of the most dependable discs. And I can honestly say I don't think I've played a round without throwing my T-Bird. And I would say majority of the shots. And so I played a lot of wind coming from Oklahoma and then just traveling. It never fails, even if it's not windy in that area. Usually during a tournament, it gets windy. If I know my disc and I throw it correctly, then it does what I want it to do. So the T-Bird is always going to be in the bag. Next, self one, my rock. It's super cool that was my ace at Winthrop was with my rock. And so that's what it does on that hole, on any hole. It just holds that straight line that I put it on. Being halo, don't let that intimidate you that it's going to be super stable, because it's not. It just holds the line. And so it flies so straight. And so that's definitely one that will continue to fly in every round I play. And then I probably would have to go just a destroyer. Also my Wraith. I have my Wraith in my hand too. But I would say I have a lot more Wraiths in destroyers in my bag than I do a Wraith. I have 1 to 2 Wraiths that are always in my bag, yet I have 5 to 6 destroyers that stay in my bag. Just because some are a little more stable than others, or the older ones that I can get to really flex out a full line. And they fight a lot of wind and go that extra mile when I need that distance shot. So I would have to go T-Bird, rock, destroyer every round.
Okay, Jen, it's time for the Fast 5, which is a super fun segment we've been doing with people. I'm going to ask you 5 random questions, and you have 15 seconds to give me an answer for each of them. How ready are you feeling right now on a scale of 1 to 5?
Not. I'd rather be in your position. Like, I like asking these.
Okay.
Here in your seat.
Oh, I mean, I have the questions in front of me, so it's really easy.
Yeah.
All right, here's your first question. What's your favorite holiday?
I'm going to go 4th of July. I like celebrating on the 4th of July. It's a fun one, right? So you just get to have fun. Christmas is a close second. But let's go 4th of July.
Second question. Who was your first celebrity crush?
I'll go Zac Efron. He's super cute.
I mean, that might have been mine too, so. Third question. What is something a lot of people probably don't know about life on tour?
It's hard. It's exhausting. There's not a break. That was last year was my first true year kind of on tour. And even that, I don't do the van life or the camper life, so I was going back with my kids and forth. So I wasn't on there the entire time. I can't imagine even how much more grueling that is, but it's just not this super fun, glamorous life people, I think, in their head put it out to be. It is incredible. You do get to travel everywhere and meet a ton of amazing people and play some super cool courses. But it's hard work too.
Fourth question. What's the best piece of advice that you've ever received?
Just staying positive. All of us have ups and downs in life. And so even if you're at a low, whether that be in your game or a career or relationship, it's going to come back up.
Last question. What is your favorite restaurant or your favorite place to get food? And it can be any food. It can be desserts. It can be snacks. It can be whatever.
Well, I'm back in Oklahoma this week, and so I would have to say when we come here, there's 2 restaurants that we immediately go to because we don't get them back in Arizona or anywhere else. So restaurant is going to be Ted's, which doesn't sound like a Mexican place, but Ted's is the best Mexican place that we love here in Oklahoma. And then Brahms for ice cream, right? Ice cream and fries. So we grew up right by the farm where they get the milk to make the ice cream. And so being so close and local, will always be just a go-to restaurant for sure.
Jen, this has been so much fun chatting with you. I've loved getting to know you. And even though, like I said, you're an Oklahoma fan, this has been just a great time.
Yeah, we won't hold that against each other. We're still on the same team.
Right.
We're on the same team now. We'll keep that in mind.